Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking something absolutely fascinating. We're going to look at how a totally normal, everyday conversation can literally reveal a millionaire-making business framework. We'll be breaking down a piece called The Alchemy of Onion Garlic Paste, which centers on a chat between a mother, Mama, and her 17-year-old daughter, Smita. Honestly, it's a complete masterclass on how just paying attention to the most mundane things in life can unlock extraordinary value.
So, to set the stage here, Smita asks her mama a massive question. It's the exact same question that plagues, well, pretty much every aspiring entrepreneur who wants to build something huge from scratch. How do you get the idea? Like, where do these million-dollar ideas actually come from? It sounds like a simple question on the surface, right? But as we're about to see, the answer requires a really specific way of looking at the world around you.
And this brilliant question totally highlights Smita's ultimate ambition. She doesn't mince words at all. She looks at her mother point blank and says, I too want to start a business and become a millionaire. I mean, she's not looking for some weekend hobby. She is actively hunting for that perfect, scalable idea so she can hit that magical 7-figure mark. She wants to create real, tangible wealth.
Now, Mama doesn't just brush her off or tell her to go finish her homework. Instead, she immediately lays out this highly structured 3-step formula for business success. Step 1, find what you're good at. Step 2, and pay attention here, find out something that people really need but would be incredibly happy not to do. And step 3 is simply providing it to them. It's that second step that's the absolute goldmine. It's all about the hidden power of solving our dreaded everyday chores.
What's so cool is how Smita instantly synthesizes its advice into 2 really clear paths for entrepreneurship. She processes her mom's wisdom and says, okay, so you're saying 2 things: resolve an existing problem or find a better solution to an existing option. That is a seriously sharp distillation of high-level business theory coming straight from a 17-year-old trying to figure out her next big move.
But Smita actually pushes the envelope even further. To explore the idea of doing something completely new, way beyond just tweaking what's already out there, she brings up the legendary innovator Henry Ford. You know the famous quote, right? Ford suggested that if he had asked people what they wanted, they would have just said, faster horses. Smita uses this bit of history to highlight a huge gap: the vast difference between what consumers ask for and what they actually need to solve their underlying problems. It is so fascinating to contrast these 2 concepts side by side. On one hand, you have the incremental idea, just making faster horses. On the other, you have the radical creation of the automobile. Smita smartly notes that Ford went on to create a car, and hey, that early car actually needed frequent repairs. It wasn't perfect right out of the gate, but think about what it evolved into. He wasn't building a better horse, he was completely reimagining transportation from the ground up.
Mama totally agrees with her daughter's analysis here and points out exactly why Ford's invention worked so well. It wasn't just because the mechanics of the vehicles were cool. It was because it successfully addressed a fundamental human need. As Mama puts it, it's about the fundamental need for the human to go places. True innovation, the kind that creates lasting, massive success, always taps directly into those deep, underlying human drivers.
All right, let's shift gears and head over to the supermarket to see how all this theory builds into an unexpected real-world application. Smita tells her mother, let me think about it. And later, while the 2 of them are just walking down the grocery aisle shopping, these grand, theoretical business frameworks suddenly collide with everyday life. And honestly, this is where the magic really happens.
Out of nowhere, Smita brings our grand business theories right down to earth by questioning her mama's everyday grocery habit. She asks a super simple question: why do you buy the onion garlic paste always? You see, Smita noticed this pattern. She specifically questioned it because she'd seen her mother tell the cook to use fresh garlic in the past. So why buy the pre-made paste now? At first, Mama kind of tries to brush the question off. She admits that chopping onions causes tears, and she simply wants to avoid crying in the kitchen. She even tells Smita she's asking too many questions and distracting her. But Smita, being the sharp kid she is, correctly deduces the rest of the hilariously grounded reasons for avoiding fresh garlic. She points out that her mom doesn't want her hands to smell like onions and garlic, and crucially, she doesn't want to smell bad to Papa. Mama playfully tells her to shut up and says she's growing up a bit too fast, but the secret is out. The absolute truth of the consumer pain point is right there in the open.
This whole exchange perfectly highlights exactly what Mama meant way back in step 2 of her formula: finding something people need to do but would be incredibly happy not to do themselves. Think about these tasks and their unwanted results. Chopping onions causes tears. Prepping garlic leaves you smelling terrible. The social impact? Smelling bad to your spouse.
Nobody wants any of those negative experiences, but hey, the food still fundamentally needs to be cooked, right?
And boom, right there in the middle of the grocery aisle, this triggers Smitna's massive aha moment. She realizes she's found her template. She turns to her mom and says, "Mama, listen, I got my idea." That humble, everyday onion garlic paste perfectly fits the business framework. It is the physical embodiment of something people deeply need, but absolutely do not want to do themselves. By recognizing this one little thing, Smitna realizes she can create countless business options using this exact same logic.
Mama completely validates this breakthrough, calling it a fantastic way to look at things. She points out that our kitchen tools actually reflect this exact same drive. Think about it. Decades ago, doing away with the mortar and pestle in favor of the electric mixer and grinder was a massive leap forward. And today, we just skip the grinding altogether and buy pre-packaged paste. This entire historical trajectory is driven by one single powerful thing: the human desire for convenience.
So, heavily inspired by this little history lesson, Smita immediately throws out her first concrete pitch. She suggests creating a small mortar and pestle specifically designed for home usage. Now look, whether that's actually the ultimate million-dollar product or not isn't really the point here. What matters is seeing how incredibly fast her entrepreneurial gears are turning now that she truly grasps the framework of solving a core, everyday annoyance. But Mama, acting like the ultimate business mentor, offers one final, absolutely vital piece of advice. Instead of just running wildly with the very first thought that pops into her head, she wisely guides Smita to think of many options, just like this one. Brainstorm multiple solutions that fit the framework, and then ultimately, select the one that aligns best with your specific area of strength. It loops right beautifully back to step one of her original formula.
Smita is so pumped by this mental breakthrough that she boldly declares she's going to be a millionaire soon, and excitedly asks if she can buy a new dress right now to celebrate. And in a delightful, grounding dose of reality, Mama gives her a firm, unmistakable no. The framework is solid, the idea generation is great, but the actual hard work, well, that hasn't even started yet.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to take a moment and look around your own daily routines. Think about that solid framework Smita and Mama uncovered. Look closely at the mundane chores you absolutely despise doing. Ask yourself, what annoying, tear-inducing chore is hiding your next big idea? Seriously, what is the onion garlic paste just waiting to be invented in your life? Keep that framework in your back pocket and keep your eyes wide open for those problems. You never know what you might find.